Hey everybody, it is May 3rd, and we've got the last limited time series of the current version, 8.3, featuring McLaren 570GT, as we can see here. By running through, of course, upon completion, you will get to win the car plus 42 gold and, well, 75,000 racing dollars if you're counting those. And this car was originally we've had the limited time series for this car a couple of years ago with the lower PR requirement and slightly higher payout in terms of gold payout. So pretty typical. They reward you more for taking advantage of these limited time series in their initial release, and upon later release, the payout becomes less and less valuable, if you will. So this one is running through the 10th of May. So this one's running for a week. So check your time zone and plan accordingly. So let's see. PR requirement this time around is gonna be 59.8. So that is, I want to say, 0.7 PR point higher than the last time we ran it. So you do need to get an extra upgrade if you won this car last time we run this one, but we'll worry about that as we discuss the upgrade tree as we pop into this limited time series here. And of course there's a car sale and the upgrade sale on Ariel Atom 3.5 going on right now, which is one of the featured cars in online multiplayer this week. Very nimble little car. But anyway, here we got McLaren 570 GT Championship. Earn a 2016 McLaren 570 GT by 100% completing this special limited time series. Beautiful, uncompromising balance between comfort and performance. I like how they put comfort in here for a in-game car. Make sure you're seated on a comfortable chair while you're playing, then I guess, to properly emulate the experience. All right, so here's the breakdown of the total 42 gold rewards, broken down into 25% completion increment. And let's see here, before I do anything, let's make sure we are saved at the right spot so we don't lose out or accidentally get, the game saves automatically. Then we don't want to lose out. Anyway, for our purpose, we'll get the series done right away with gold. So there we go, 42 gold all at once. And of course, if you already won the car before or purchased the car before, you would not be winning another copy of the same car. You'll just win 42 gold. So this is of course the little sibling to 600 LT, which is gonna be featured in one of the bonus series this car is featured in. So this car is featured in two bonus series, both in elite section of the game. Supercar Revelations is one, and the other one I must have it unlocked already. So the other series is called Grand Adventure, and that's the one. This car is the top dog. So this would be the car. Once you have the sufficient amount of upgrades, you'll be able to 100% complete that one for the total reward of 60 gold, the Grand Adventure. And the Supercar Revelations that this just unlocked, this one is actually the underdog in that series. You will need that Big Brother 600 LT to complete that one. But since we're talking about the 500 GT or 570 GT, let's focus on that one. Alright, so final PR requirement, as you can see, 59.8. And how do we get there? Well, there are total 28 upgrades available, and the cheapest way to bring your PR high enough to meet the PR requirement is to get 3 upgrades across the board, which will cost you 236 gold, I think, if I remember correctly from the last run. That will bring your PR up to 59.1 if I remember correctly. So let's do this real quick. So tier 1 upgrade, we got 39,800 for engine. All tier 1s are gonna be racing dollar upgrades. All tier 2 are gonna be gold upgrades, and tier 3 all racing dollar upgrades again. You know the format. That's kind of the modern standard now. So let's get these going. And by the way, if you're fairly new to the game, the first tier racing dollar upgrades, as you saw, they take 2 hours and 30 minutes. And the total cost here is going to be 231,200 racing dollars. The reason why I mentioned earlier new players is because for most of you guys who's been doing this for some time, you probably have excess amount of racing dollars, so spending those to upgrade these cars isn't going to be a big deal. But if you don't play much, then this can be somewhat expensive. So yeah, you don't want to have to struggle to get by for racing dollars. So you want to make sure you put in sufficient amount of time to get the most out of this game, I guess. So yeah, 34,000 for suspension. Exhaust is 33,600 here, and the brakes 26,000, and finally tires and wheels 31,200. So base PR 46.7. Upon completing the first tier upgrades, should be getting 4.2 PR point boost up to 50.9. Right. So let's check. That's the limit of your limit of your racing dollar upgrades on this car. Can you claim 4 gold? No. Checking into tier 4, we can find out whether we can get through the 25% completion, and it seems like we are still underwater here, as 25% requires 51.1 PR point for this one, and the racing dollar gets you only up to 50.9, so no go there. So if you're in this one, you're in it to win it. So with that being said, let's check out the tier 2 upgrades. This is going to be all gold, as I was saying. 40 gold for engine, which unlocks tier 3 racing dollar upgrade. We'll come back to that. Drivetrain 38, body another 30, suspension 35, exhaust 35 again, brakes 26, and finally tires and wheels 32. Yes, I believe that does add up to 236 gold total so far, and that brings your PR up to 55.1, which is obviously far from 59.8. So we're gonna need these tier 3 racing dollar upgrades, which will total some 520,200 racing dollars here. So starting with engine, 89,700, drivetrain 83,400, body is gonna cost 66,300. Next we got suspension, which will cost 76,500. Exhaust, we're maxing this one out, 75,600. Same for remaining 2 categories here. We're gonna max out. Brakes 58,500. And finally, tires and wheels, 70,200 racing dollars. So, yeah, tier 2 upgrades gave us another 4.2 PR point boost, right? And tier 3 is going to do precisely that. It'll get us another 4.2. I guess the last time we won this car, PR requirement was 59.3. I think I said 59.1, but anyway, that's where you are, right? That's where we are. So then we need 0.5 PR point more than how you would have won if you won this car last time. And there are multiple options that you can choose, but the goal here is to save gold, in my opinion. I think that's a good way to go. So if you check out all the remaining upgrades, they're all going to be gold. Tier 4 upgrades were available. Now, one thing the engine upgrades got going on inside, even though it's most expensive, is that it does unlock the next tier racing dollar upgrades. So if you're planning on going further in the bonus series this car's featured in, then that perhaps might be worthwhile. But since we're trying to talk about the limited time series here, so Drivetrain 85 gold, so that's pretty high, and that leaves us two options: body or suspension, right? Body is 65 gold, so far that's the cheapest one, and then it will remain cheapest because suspension is going to be a little bit higher, 75, right? And they all meet the PR requirement. Suspension kind of overshoots it. Body brings you right on the money, 59.8, which is the requirement. Drivetrain overshoots by 0.1. Engine meets it, but it is kind of pricey. But the benefit is it does unlock the next tier racing dollar upgrade. So, yeah, you can go a little deeper, right? But let's go with the body. So 65 added to the previous cost of 236 gold, which brings a total up to 301 gold total cost to upgrade this car to meet the PR requirement. And of course you get 42 of it back, so net cost is what, 259. Does it sound about right? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, 260 range. Let's just round it off. Alright, so that is the total cost for this limited time series with the 22 upgrades on board. 3 upgrades across the board except for the body, where you get the 4th tier, max out the body, right? All right, so you get 42 from this bonus series, and as I said, bonus series this car's featured in Grand Adventure. You would need to bring this car's PR up to 62 to 100% complete. Otherwise, this limited time series PR will get you to essentially complete 75% completion, which would mean you can claim another 35 gold. So that can kind of help out with a net cost here, right? So that would be closer to then 225, 230 net cost, right? And if you count for Supercar Revelations, how far can you go in that series with this car, with this PR? Not as far, I don't think, because that one requires PR 71.1. I'll make a separate video for those series. But let's say if you're able to get at least 50% completion on that one, and that'll get you another 21 gold. So then you're bringing down the cost of this card closer to maybe 210, 200 gold, somewhere around there. So perhaps it's not such a bad deal. Speaking of the cost, how much is this car? Well, if you're to buy it outright, it'll cost you 400 gold. So you're, by running through this limited time series, you're getting the car with some 22 upgrades already on board, which will get you, a better performance on this car. You can go further in the bonus series the car's featured in. You get it for cheaper cost than buying the car outright. And the future potential for this car being featured car in weekly time trial. So, yes. And in terms of how many series, 2 series car, I suppose is better than single series car, but still, it's only 2. So, yeah, the usage of this car is still somewhat limited in that sense, and there is no exclusive series, at least not as of yet. So, can't really count on it, right? So that is that. So let's talk about the series itself now that we've gotten through the upgrades here and the cost. So tier 1, we got Hunter at Mount Panorama. So that's a full lap, pretty decent size circuit. And then we got Speed Record, that's another full lap, the medium size Suzuka West. And then we got a cup at Monza Road Course, so that's a good length, single lap. No PR requirement there. So that will bring your car pretty darn close to being in red already, because that is 3 full laps of various sizes of circuits, right? And they're not, none of them are like terribly short circuits. So yeah, tier 2 we got autocross at Porsche Test Track, short on-road circuit. And we got head-to-head at Melbourne, that's a single lap. Alright. And then the cup for tier 2 is going to be at the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Just a single lap, PR 49 is required. So obviously base PR won't get you through tier 2. So you got to get those tier 1 upgrades going right away when you start this limited time series. Moving on, tier 3, we got elimination at Berlin, so you gotta survive for 2 minutes 20 seconds. We got speed snap at Bugatti Circuit, and that takes place around the finish line, doesn't it? It's really all about how you handle the final sort of the U-shaped corner, right? Heading you back into the finish line. So it starts much further back though. It's a pretty good size, good length speed snap, and the beginning part of the speed snap really does not matter. And the only part matters is the ending. Of course, it's a speed snap. Alright, then we got Cup at Hockenheim Grand Prix for tier 3. It's gonna be tier 3. Is that right? Yeah. PR 50.2 is required. It's going to be a single lap Grand Prix. Alright, and then the tier 4, 25% completion tier. We got endurance at Mazda Raceway. Drag race. Well, it's a drag race. It's going to be at Red Bull Ring. But I still say it doesn't really matter where it takes place. And then the Cup is going to be at Catalunya National. 2 laps, and PR 51.1 as we checked in earlier is what's required. Alright, moving on, tier 5, we got Hunter at Nürburgring, Mühlenbachschleife, so that's a short single lap. Elimination at Silverstone International, so once again, surviving for 2 minutes 20 seconds. How many laps can you do? Probably like good 3 laps, can't you? Maybe? Maybe not quite 3 laps, but I feel like with this car you should be able to wrap up a lap at Silverstone International under a minute. I think. I don't know. Anyway, then the tier 5 Cup at Daytona. Single lap, rolling start 51.9. Oh yeah, the road course, by the way, the longer one of the two, between road course and the motorcycle course, since we really don't see the speedway in these events. All right, I think they should bring back speedway. Speedways are fun. You only need to take left turns. Anyway, we got autocross for tier 6 starter, Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix. That's a pretty decent length run too. And then we got head-to-head at Dubai Oval. So that's the shortest track, isn't it? Single lap. Well, possibly shortest, if not Richmond. But once again, that's another track we never see other than in NASCAR. Right. NASCAR, you see it all the time. I mean, that's about the only thing that you see, right? Alright, then we got the Cup at Spa for tier 6. PR50 2.7 is required, and it's going to be just a single lap. I get a feeling the multiple lap Grand Prix Circuit Cup is going to take place starting on tier 8 once you kind of hit 50% mark. Alright, so tier 7 we got Speed Record at Brands Hatch, that's a single lap. Speed Snap at Daytona Road Course. I can never keep track where that takes place, but that's where it is. And then Cup for tier 7, Silverstone National, 4 laps with the PR 53.4 as the requirement. Alright, tier 8 we got Elimination at the Brickyard and Hunter at Hockenheim National. And the Cup for tier 8 is at Dubai National, 3 laps, and PR 54.2 is required. Right, tier 9 head-to-head at Monza Junior course. Should be a single lap, that's a pretty short one. Autocross at Catalunya Grand Prix. And the Cup for tier 9 as Circuit of the Americas Club Circuit, very short circuit, 7 laps total. PR 54.9 is required. Tier 10, we got Endurance at Porsche Test Track Dynamic Circuit. So, it's endurance. We haven't had too many endurance in this one, huh? So, your mileage would vary depending on what kind of margin you beat your opponents by. Although I haven't seen like distance longer than like 10 kilometers as a target, even when you run kind of flat out and just like win by big margins. So that would be equal to what, like about 6-7 miles, I think. Anyway, then we got drag race, which on the other hand, if you're winning by a big margin, might cause you some trouble. And then the Cup for tier 10 at Nürburgring Grand Prix, PR 55.9 is required. 3 laps, so yeah, we're getting some longer races here. Tier 11 Speed Record at Red Bull Ring National Circuit, Elimination at the 24-hour circuit, and the Cup is going to be at Mount Panorama. 3 laps, PR 56.6 is required. So yeah, it's a pretty decent length Cup races on this second half of this limited time series here. Alright, tier 12, that's your 75% completion tier. You got Autocross at Mazda Raceway, Speed Snap at Brands Hatch, and then you got a Cup at Daytona Motorcycle Course, 3 laps, so that one is relatively short in comparison to prior tier Cups here, with the PR 57.4 required. Alright, I think you might need to service the car in tier 12. By the way, that did stick out with that, what was that? Speed Snap at Brands Hatch unserviced can be a little tricky. With running with the minimal upgrades as well. Anyway, tier 13, we got Hunter at Catalunya Club, head-to-head at Dubai National. That should be a single lap. Yep. And the Cup is going to be at Suzuka East, so this is going to have a really high lap count, isn't it? 7 laps once again. PR 58.2 is required, so We've had some long circuit cup races, and we got some high lap count short circuit cups. So mixing in some variety, I like that. And then tier 14, we got speed record at Porsche Test Track long on-road circuit. Usually you can pull it off without servicing the car on that one. And we got autocross at Mount Panorama, which should rarely give you trouble. And then we got a cup at Bugatti circuit. That's a medium-sized circuit. 4 laps, PR 59 is required. And so that means if you've already won this car from last run of this event, you can actually get all the way to, you can finish every event except for the last cup. So yes, that means you can collect, a few extra gold here if you don't feel like completing it 100% and you already have the car in your garage. So, but I say, I think it's worth getting that final upgrade and get a nice, essentially, discount on that last body upgrade. So with that being said, final tier, you got Speed Snap at Hockenheim Short, Elimination at Circuit of the Americas National Circuit, and Final Cup at Nürburgring Sprint Circuit. Whoa. 5 laps, PR 59.8 is required. It seems like that's going to be a fairly short event at the end. But yeah, probably don't need to service the car in the final tier. Probably not tier 14, tier 13, probably not. Tier 12, Speed Snap, I'm looking at you, Speed Snap. You might require the car serviced. And then tier 11, doesn't really, nothing sticks out. Nope. And tier 10, if you've been playing your cards right, drag race shouldn't be too bad. Same for endurance. And tier 9 doesn't look like it's gonna be terribly challenging. And yeah, Speed Snap at Daytona, I think should be, maybe that one might be questionable. So tier 7, perhaps you might need to service your car for that Daytona Speed Snap. That can be a little tricky depending on where it takes place. Speed record at Brands Hatch, if you turn around at the beginning, you can extend that longest straight, the pit straight, to allow yourself to get some extra distance to add a bit more speed and also kind of get a little bit of help from the gravity. Alright, and tier 6, I don't see anything here that might throw you off. Same for tier 5. Yeah, so this series might require you to service the car a couple of times, but that isn't too bad. That's fairly typical, I think. So anyway, that does it for this limited time series overview video. So thanks for sticking around. And if you like the content, find the information useful, click that like button, subscribe, you know what they say. Do all that. Alright, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll try to see if I can make my way through this limited time series in the following video. So we'll catch you there, and take care, guys.